Cool. So who are these three handsome devils you see in front of you right now? Promised I wouldn't make that joke. So I'll start with myself. We're going to be super brief. So my name's Yanni. I'm the founder and director of Tara. I've been thinking about AI safety for probably 4 years now. Prior to Tara, I founded AI Safety Australia and New Zealand, which is the field building org here. But all I really think about day and night is how to accelerate as many careers in AI safety as possible.
I'm Zach. I'm one of the technical program managers at Tara. I helped sort of get Tara into the scale that it's currently at with Yanni since the end of last year, and I'm also studying AI in my master's program right about now.
And also Chief Zoom Officer.
Chief Zoom Officer,
Chief
yeah,
Zoom
a very
Officer.
official title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Ahmed. I was Tara as a TA for the last couple of months and really excited about how fast it was scaling and the impact that we're having. Zach will get into that a bit later. So I just come on full time now as a program manager.
Nice. Told you it would be quick. So why does Tara exist? Well, for myself, Ahmed, and Zach, we think that artificial general intelligence might be arriving very soon. We think that currently uh, we don't have reliable ways of safely aligning powerful artificial intelligence to human values and goals. And if we don't do that and we bring such systems into existence, then many catastrophic events could occur. That's the bad news. The good news is that we think it's a tractable problem. So one of the most promising theories of change is to get lots of smart people, like many of the people on this call, plausibly all the people on this call, into AI safety careers so that they can become strong researchers and figure out ways how to, in fact, align such a powerful system. Uh, Sounds simple enough? Not really. So there's a couple of barriers to us achieving that mission. So the first barrier relates to the AI safety ecosystem writ large. So currently, if you're based in APAC, the AI safety training and fellowship ecosystem says that you need to do two things. You need to go to America or go to the US to receive training, and you need to do it full time. Our solution is to flip that model and to deliver training in your city and to do it part-time on Saturdays so that it's compatible with people's full-time careers and compatible with their education. So you don't need to drop everything in your life to find out if AI safety is a good career fit for you. So that's like the big take. The smaller take is more that maybe many people on this call don't know whether AI safety research is the right path for them. And finding out is too high in cost, whether that be cost in time or money. And even further, they don't know, even if it was a viable path for them, specifically which part of it. So our solution to that is to deliver a broad curriculum. So with Tara, you would learn about mech interp and evals and reinforcement learning, and then you would do a project to test your fit further. So then you'd get a better sense for, would you like to do this as a career? And if so, what specifically would be the thing that you'd have a comparative advantage in doing?
Cool. So we're going to get to all of these questions soon, but if you have just joined, the QR code is now again on your screen. So get your phone out and scan it. We'll just leave it up for a few seconds. We'll just leave it there for a moment there, but we'll get to all these questions at the end. A reminder that you can upvote these questions. So if there's someone asking a question that's similar to what you'd like to ask us, then feel free to upvote. We'll get to the most upvoted ones at the start. All right, last chance. And let's go.
All right, so Tara, just to give we're going to go very fast with this whole presentation, but basically Tara is fairly unique in that it's like partially online and partially in person. So the online component is your teaching assistants and your program managers are all online, and the teaching assistants will deliver their lectures online and give you support online on the Saturdays. But every Saturday, we'll have cities where 10 to 20 participants will gather in person and get the remotely delivered presentation and get support from the TA, but they'll all be working together in one location. The basic learning structure for the Saturday is you'll all gather at 9:30 or 10 a.m. on a Saturday, and your TA will then present the new topic for that week. And introducing that topic for about an hour or so. You'll then dive into the pair programming, where you'll be programming with another participant for the rest of the day until about 4 p.m., where we'll have then an afternoon presentation. So afternoon presentation is a parallel curriculum we'll be running in addition to the morning presentation. That's a lot less intense. Usually we find like attendees are like cooked by 4 p.m. So it's a lot less intense, but it introduces some very core concepts that are equally relevant. So as for the curriculum, feel free to ask me questions about this, but the general idea is we'll have a foundations week where we'll prepare you with some prerequisite tools and libraries to be using for the rest of the curriculum. We'll then dive into transformers, building a transformer from scratch, learning to interpret the model, and then also learning some useful concepts for steering the model and finding very important vectors. We'll then dive into reinforcement learning and reinforcement learning from human feedback, which is a very important concept for understanding how do you make these models safer and more helpful. And then we'll dive into inspect, where this is a very common state-of-the-art library that's used for evaluations. And we'll teach you how to build very good evaluations. How do you create a data set that can evaluate what you need to evaluate, and then actually running that evaluation with LLM agents. And then finally, this is new for this cohort, where there's some new notebooks in Arena that we'll be introducing on alignment science generally. We haven't ironed out which exact notebooks we're going to be doing, and this whole curriculum is subject to a little bit of change, but we'll probably go into things like emergent misalignment, chain of thought monitoring, and general, how do you do the science of misalignment? How do you figure out if a model is confused or it's actually maybe intentionally being deceptive? And then finally, a very core component is the project phase. We find that a lot of roles related to AI safety like to see proof of work and projects you've done. And this kind of gives you a structured space to do that for 3 weeks and build a project that draws on the curriculum you've learned in the past few weeks. The 4 p.m. session I mentioned, a lot less intense, but very important, will introduce things like career planning tools and workshops, understanding the ecosystem, so which organizations and funders are in the space. How do you understand catastrophic risks and build a good threat model for mitigating those risks, and also in a theory of change for understanding, okay, if I want to do this project, how does that then mitigate some catastrophic risk? And what's my theory here? What are potential gaps? Is something else potentially more impactful? And then lastly, things like how do you plan your project and what are the emerging research areas? So we'll be teaching a lot of foundational information, but we'll also be introducing what's currently happening at the cutting edge in this space.
Fantastic. Okay, so if this sounds interesting to you, how do you apply? I'll run through a couple of those key details now. So first of all, why should you apply? Well, number one, the program is free and it is competitive, but we cover a lot of the usual costs with trying to do this sort of a thing. So we provide a venue for you in your local city where you can get together with your 10 to 20 participants, local city organizers who are helping with all the logistics of the day, setting up the tech, compute credits and API credits for the coursework and for your projects. The teaching assistants like Ahmed, we are paying for their time as well to come and help you and transfer as much knowledge as we possibly can. And Saturday lunches, you guys will get together with all of your fellow participants and have lunch every Saturday, partly as just a way of community building, a bit of community building exercise. And we also offer AI safety career planning. So how can you get from Tara further along in your AI safety career? So far, we've run in 8 different cities. So there was a pilot program last year in Melbourne and Sydney, and then 6 cities at the beginning of this year, Melbourne and Sydney again, as well as Brisbane, Manila, Tokyo, and Singapore. And we've had 82 people graduate all the way through to the end of the program. From those people that have made it through, a couple of key results. We have a 90% likelihood to recommend score at the moment, 95% very or extremely satisfied with program management, and 91% of those graduates are more likely to pursue a career in AI safety. So if you're trying to find a way into AI safety and you'd like a way to figure out, as Yanni said, what your fit is and what you'd like to do and find a path through, this is a great place to start. Where have our graduates ended up so far? We did a 12-month career outcome survey for people from last year. 40% of them have secured competitive fellowships. You may be familiar with a few of these if you know some of the AI safety space, of the bit of the ecosystem, so MATS and SPA, laser labs, things like that. And 47% have transitioned to AI safety-based roles and work. So who should apply very specifically? if you are strong technically, you've got strong technical foundations in things like programming, and you have a genuine interest in AI safety, and you meet the course requirements, we think you should apply. We'll go through what those course requirements are more soon. But those are really the two things that we would really like to see in our application, in our applicants. If you are already doing something like technical work or research in AI safety, this is probably not so much for you. Tara is primarily a course where we cover all the stuff that Ahmed was talking about before with the capstone project. And if you're already doing technical work or research in AI safety, with a couple of caveats around, there's a lot of different topics within AI safety. Maybe if you're only doing some evaluations work you'd like to learn about RL and MechInterf, it would still be appropriate. But have a look through the curriculum, make sure that what you're applying to is actually going to give you some exposure to the areas that you're not already familiar with. And if you're just looking for a research fellowship, we do have this research component at the end, potentially. You don't even have to necessarily do research with the project. But primarily, as I said, we're an educational course. So you're doing research from week 1 all the way through to week 14. The course requirements, there's a lot of them here, so I'm going to quickly just run through a few things here. The entire course is delivered in English, so you need to have strong English proficiency. We'll communicate in English, as will your TAs. Strong programming background, as I mentioned, something on the order of about 1 year's experience with Python would be what I would say is a rough sort of minimum to go through. Attend at least 11 out of 14 Saturday sessions. We'll talk about this more in a second. Arriving on time every Saturday. We'll also talk about that more in a second. Being able to commit at least 2 hours of independent study each week. You will cover things, as Ahmed said, on the Saturday itself, but people don't generally finish all of the course content on that day. You are sort of expected to, and we expect people to continue with that work throughout the week. And about 2 hours minimum is what we would sort of expect that time commitment to be. Commit to pair programming. I'll talk about this more in just a moment. Complete the prerequisite material. This is important because we want everyone to be starting from a common baseline. There are a variety of different backgrounds and experiences that are coming into TARF with all the participants. And what we want to make sure is that everyone can speak a common language when they begin. And then lastly, in order to complete TARA, you need to have delivered a project presentation. That's necessary for certification as well. So there are 2 commitments that we take seriously that I talked about. I'll talk about one and then Yanni's going to talk about the other. So pair programming. This is a core part of how TARA runs. Every single week during the curriculum, you are paired up with another participant and you will work with them throughout that day to implement all the exercises, the coding exercises throughout that day. We do this because, one, it exposes you to more people in your cohort and allows you to see different problem-solving styles, but also lets you get to know that person. And it stops skill gaps from compounding. It keeps everyone working as a team throughout the entire thing. And we think this is really important because it can be very easy for these skill gaps to compound and for people to be working at different paces and to not at all talk to a single person in your cohort if you aren't working with them for the majority of the day. So abilities vary widely, as I said before. We have a lot of different backgrounds coming into TARA, and pair programming is a core part of actually completing the program. So if you're not willing to do pair programming, you don't like it, just know that this is a core part of the program. So if you don't want to do this, this probably isn't for you.
Nice. Cool. Thanks, Zach. So we have like 3 rules at TARA, and the rest are just guidelines. One is like, be nice to everyone. The other one is show up enough times and be on time. And then the third one is around pair programming. I'll talk a little bit about attendance. So the vision for the attendance policy is that you do TARA, and then in 4 months, a fellowship manager or a recruitment manager at an AI safety firm is looking at your resume, and they can see TARA there. And they know that this person has covered a significant amount of content in the TARA curriculum. Downstream from that is necessarily the case that people actually turn up and consume the content. So that's like one primary reason why we actually have an attendance policy. So the minimum is that out of the 14 Saturdays that it's running, people need to attend at least 11. Another reason is that it signals seriousness. We've heard from many people in our most recent cohort that part of the positive consequence of this policy is that when you're there together, you kind of know that everybody around you is serious about what's being learned because there's that level of commitment. So yeah, I think I've probably said enough about that. I'll say one more point. We had 84 people come through our last round, and we only had 3 people leave who didn't want to leave. And most of the time they left was because the 4th session that they missed, which was ultimately the one that required us to ask them to leave, that was the accidental one. So the story goes something like, okay, I can miss up to 4 sessions. So I'll plan to miss 3. And then whoops, what do you know? It's week 12 and I've become sick and I didn't plan for that. And now I've missed 4. So the reason that we have those 3, right? So you can miss up to 4. So you got 3 as a budget. The reason we have that is because shit happens. So people get sick. We've had people called up for military service. We've had bereavement. We recommend that you assume that at some point over 14 weeks, at least 1 or 2 things are going to go wrong. So if you know that you're going to miss more than 2, we would recommend seriously considering whether this is for you. Cool. Logistics. Handing back to Ahmed.
All right, cool. Yeah. So applications close on the 26th of July, and then we'll start our first icebreaker session on the 5th of September, and that'll be online. And then the course officially starts from the 12th, right, and then runs till the 12th of December. That's when we have our presentations. To get a certificate of completion, you have to attend, like Annie said, more than 11 sessions, or 11 or more, so you can miss 3. And you get certificate of completion. You also get access to our growing Tara network. And if you finish your project, you'll also have a portfolio project demonstrating your AI safety skills, which really helps then when you applying for fellowships and future AI safety roles. The cities we're targeting are 4 cities in ANZ, 3 in India, and quite a few in the East and Southeast Asia. It's not necessarily limited to these. Like if we have a lot of demand and a lot of talent in a particular city, we can then look at having a venue there as well. But these, just based on preliminary research, these are cities we're targeting for this round. We then also have commitment bonds. It's fully refundable, but at the start of the course, you pay a commitment bond, and if you pass all the requirements, you'll get this money back. And this is kind of just to filter out for people who are serious. And we found that it really helps with retention to make sure that it not just to show as a commitment for yourself to show you're serious, but also making sure that the numbers don't drop, which ruins the experience for all other participants.
Fantastic. Okay.
Nice. I think that was slightly longer than 10 minutes. I apologize. We did go as quickly as we could. Hopefully that was helpful. Cool to jump into the questions now.
Let's do it.
Nice. So first question from Slido, and please keep putting the questions in the Slido as they come to mind. How can I get into the Arena Bootcamp or other programs like the Singapore AI Safety Fellowship? Well, there's lots of ways that we could answer this. Have a strong track record in being able to do AI safety research is always helpful. And generally showing that, again, through your track record, that you care about catastrophic risk reduction from AI. Those are generally the 2 criteria that fellowship managers look for. There's more permutations on those 2, but very much those are the 2 that people look for: aptitude and caring. Second question, sounds similar to the Arena program in London, but part-time in APAC. Nailed it. Yes, maybe we should just say that. Are there networking opportunities similar in London? Yes, lots. Because today we're primarily talking about Tara, I won't go into those, but a trusty search engine or your favorite AI chatbot will be able to surface those really well for you. Please clarify if you're open to including professionals with policy background with no ML engineering experience, pivoting into AI safety and governance. I think if you're interested in doing governance, you shouldn't do Tara, because Tara is primarily a course that teaches technical safety research techniques. I hope I've understood that question correctly, but basically don't do it if you want to get into policy and governance. We think that people should have at least 1 year of Python experience to get into Tara and do it without having a panic attack on week 1.
Yeah, I'd just say you don't necessarily need machine learning or engineering experience, some exposure is nice. But if you're sitting here being like, I'm a professional with a policy background and I have some technical experience, that we'd still be open to having you apply, of course, but we're probably not the best way to get into governance.
We had 2 or 3 participants in our last round who were primarily interested in policy and governance, but had some coding background and wanted to work at the intersection of technical work and governance work. So that could be a reason to do it. Would it be possible, next question, would it be possible to switch locations during the program if I am sometimes in different countries? Yes. So, good question. We only require that people attend a minimum of 11 sessions, but we don't actually care what city they're in. So we're hoping to go somewhere into 8 to 10 of the 12 cities we listed. You could, if your bank account allowed it, do 1 week in each city for all we care. So as long as you're in person in one of the cities for at least 11 times, you can go wherever you want. What is the minimum size for a city group? Asking from NZ. Great question. The minimum size is 10. We do this for a couple of reasons. One is that one thing that we've noticed is that when you're in a room with someone for 8 hours every Saturday for 14 Saturdays, you end up becoming really close. And we think that one part of that, besides the 14 weeks and the 8 hours, is the minimum cohort size for it to feel like a community. So another reason for that is we want to make sure that if there are any dropouts in a cohort, that that doesn't negatively affect the experience of being in that group. So if you have 20, you can lose a few and it won't matter. But if you have 9 and you lose a few, then it starts feeling a bit sparse. Next question. Do you decide on cities based on whether there are enough people there? If so, is it worth trying to get a group together in your own city? I feel like I answered that question.
I'd just add that, if you know 10 people that you think want to do Tara and you're not currently on that list, probably let us know and feel free to get that group together. Like that would be exciting.
Nice. Next question. So if not in one of the cities, then you can't participate. Basically, that's right. If you can't be in one of the cities where the in-person program is being held, then you can't participate. Arena, which is where we draw the curriculum from, they attempted to do a remote version of Arena, and they had something like 4 out of 52 people be able to finish it. Our completion rate is closer to 80%. So we've kind of found the happy medium between needing to fly overseas and do a 4-week boot camp, and then on the other side of the spectrum, being fully remote, but no one ends up finishing it because it's too hard. So that's why the in-person thing is so important and why we require those 11 as a minimum out of the 14 in-person attendances. If we complete this program, how will we find jobs or research opportunities related to AI safety? Great question. Ahmed spoke about the 4 p.m. part of the Saturday sessions. So you come in, it's a Saturday. That means a 10 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. lecture is occurring where we introduce a new topic. You do the pair programming for the day, and then at 4 p.m. when your brains are completely fried, we talk about AI safety. That could be career planning workshops. It could involve talking about the kinds of organizations in the ecosystem and what kinds of people they hire for, but also what are the kinds of risks that we should be looking to ameliorate. So part of what we care about is getting you those jobs and getting you those follow-on fellowships. So it's definitely in our best interest to make that happen. And it happens throughout the program. Christoph says, I submitted my application this week. Roughly by when am I likely to know whether it's yay or nay? So good question. Applications close on the 26th and within a week of that, right, Zach?
Yeah, I think about a week. Yeah. I could find an exact date somewhere, but I think it's about a week.
Yeah, around a week. How to stand out in Tara applications, what is being tested? I think if it's clear to us that you're a strong programmer and you care about reducing AI risks, then you have a reasonable shot of getting in. I'm being slightly obtuse on purpose for reasons that are probably now obvious. Lynn asks, for the program, is all the date and activity in... Oh, we lost Lynn's question. Oh no, Lynn, for the program, is all the date and activity in person I'm an international student in Japan, but not in Tokyo. Is online participation possible? No, unfortunately, then it's not possible to do online participation for the reasons we gave earlier. Community is important, pair programming is important, and we know that through previous trials, online only simply doesn't work. Anonymous, would I be excused from consistently having to leave 1 hour before dismissal time? No, unfortunately not. What's required is arriving for the upfront lecture and then attending until the end of the 4 p.m. session. So the 4 p.m. session finishes at 4:30, and then after that point, everyone's kind of free to leave. But if you were to leave 1 hour before dismissal time, that would mean essentially missing every single 4 p.m. session, which they're really important. So no, unfortunately not. I'm overseas in September. Can I still participate? Yes, as long as you're confident that yes, you can participate if you think you're going to miss fewer than 4 sessions. If you're going to be overseas for 3 weeks, meaning you can't get sick in any of the remaining 11 weeks, I'd recommend you don't apply, because you might spend 6 weeks in Tara, go overseas, come back, spend 3 weeks on your holiday, not be able to miss 1 more session, and then one day you get sick, and then all the work down the drain. So we recommend people are a little bit careful with that, because we enforce the policy strictly. So is the program suitable for someone with little to no programming experience but is super interested in learning? Absolutely. As long as you have, probably the benchmark is around 1 year of Python programming experience, and we can see that you care about reducing AI risk. Is the application reviewed on a rolling basis? First come, first serve? No, but what I will say is that it's easier for us to spin out city cohorts if enough applications come in sooner. The reason is we need to start finding venues from next week. And if we look at our application list and we see that there's 15 people in Bangalore, we're just immediately going to start looking for 15 for a venue from Bangalore. But if there's 1 application from Auckland, then maybe we won't start trying to set it up until a sufficient number come in. So there's like a collective action problem here. It's good for you to get your application in first, but mostly because it gives us confidence that there's enough of an interest to go to the effort to build a cohort.
Yeah, I might just add there, like especially if we didn't see you sitting on the list, it will be like unlikely we'll be able to put a cohort together if you like all apply on the last day. Because it gives us very little time to then put together a cohort necessity and do all the logistics. So yeah,
I would push even slightly harder on that and say, if you're in a city that isn't on the list, we would need to see 20 applications probably in the next week, assuming that we let in 50% because they passed the bar. And then we would go and think about finding a venue. So it would need to happen soon. Based on the questions asked here, many people from different cities do not have enough cohort size. I don't think that's true. We've spent quite a bit of time talking to local movement builders, and we're very confident that we're going to go into somewhere between 7 and 10 cities for this round. We went into 6 last round. And yeah, can they attend virtually? No, for all the reasons I gave earlier. What are the coolest capstone projects people have done previously? Yeah, I'll hand over to Zach. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. Ahmed might be well placed to answer this as well. But basically, I will give you like 1 or 2 examples. So someone did evaluations of Chinese frontier models, which hasn't been done before, and tested them in contexts which were quite novel. So that was quite a cool example. Someone did an AI control project. They try to use new methods there and like extend some things that have been seen previously. There's a lot of detail that we could go into, but there are Spotlight projects on our website. If you want to check them out in detail, just jump onto the website, go to the Spotlight projects tab, and you can like watch the videos so you can get a real good sense of what's going on there. There's been quite a few mechanistic interpretability projects as well.
Cool. My master's research is on cultural alignment in LLMs, but the focus is more on evaluation rather than strictly AI safety. Can I still apply? Yes. If you think that you've got more than a year of something approximating experience with Python programming, and we can see that you care about reducing AI risk, then there's a very good chance that you will get in. So yes, apply. I'm not from the city on the list. If I register of the city in the list, and can I put second option as my city? So I think what this questioner is asking is, Zach, do you want to have a crack at this?
Yeah, the answer is yes. On the application form, if you are not from one of the cities, you can say other and then write your city. That's fine. Yeah.
Next question. Why are you doing this? What is the motivation behind it, since there's no money benefit and you're making it free of cost? Good question. So we are doing it because we're genuinely worried about the rate at which AI systems are becoming more capable, and we think everybody is dropping the ball, and this presents lots of risks that we currently have no good answers for ameliorating. So we think that's bad.
Yeah.
The start time varies among the countries, but will the afternoon session be fixed to 4 p.m. local time? Yes, yes. There's like a 95% chance that will be the case. What if I can't make it for the first in-person session? That's totally fine. You can. We had somebody last round miss the first 3 and then just make the next 11. Risky. Wouldn't recommend it, but doable.
Can be done.
I feel like we've spoken a lot about attendance, and that makes me sound like a curmudgeon. I promise that we're all, the 3 of us, really nice guys. It's just that, like, we think that this one policy is extremely crucial to keeping the whole thing running. And that just seems also to be where people's questions are coming from. So we're kind of hammering that point. For the last few weeks where we work on a project, how do you treat any current or previous projects we have and are interested in developing further? Good question. So there are kind of 2 ways of going about this. One is that we scope out projects for people to work on so that you can just pick up the idea and run with it. The alternative is that you do the scoping process. So you consider, say, 3 different options, you log them with your teaching assistant, they give you feedback on 3, and then you come up with your preferred one, and then you push ahead with that. So I think I answered that question. Ahmed, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a current project and you want to use the space and the resources to work on it further, I think it'll be great. Yeah, I don't immediately see a reason why not. Yeah.
Cool. Anonymous, should I mention that I'm open to another city so I won't be rejected if my chosen city has too few participants?
Yeah.
Only if you can actually go to that city, and if you to attend, and if that's the case, then yes. Is the commitment bond required? Yes, it is required. That question's now disappeared, but I'll keep answering it. We've benchmarked the commitment bonds so that it's like on the order of really annoying if you lost that amount of money, but not so high that people have to choose between paying rent that week or doing Tara. If the commitment bond is a problem for you, feel free to reach out to us directly. Could you please define technical? From Amara, I think the context of this might be helpful. Zach, do you think?
I feel like, yeah, I'm guessing the question, correct me if I'm wrong, is regarding, like, we think you need to be strong technically, like a strong technical experience. And I would just go, I'll default back to the roughly a year of Python. Knowing some maths is useful, so some linear algebra and some probability and some calculus is useful. I wouldn't say as required as the programming experience, but if you have further questions, feel free to.
Yeah, I suppose another framing could be like define technical as it pertains to the name, Technical Alignment Research Accelerator. We suppose that there are some alignment techniques that aren't technical. They could be philosophical or social alignment techniques. This is technical in the sense that it is a computer science approach. Will the compute cost be supported? Yes. Does that mean will we
commute?
Oh, commute costs be supported? Generally, no. But if this is a constraint for you, happy for you to reach out directly. But generally speaking, no. We've got possibly up to 100 people doing the program, and we already pay for food and TAs and compute and venues, so we can't pay for everyone's commuting. But if it's the difference between you doing it or not, it's probably better off that you reach out or you just put it in the application form.
Mm.
The 11 out of 14 session attendance sounds great, but is there any option to attend sessions virtually over Zoom for unplanned stuff? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. One thing that I didn't mention as part of the attendance policy is that one might ask, well, what is the strict definition of attending versus not attending? So we bring on city organizers to be in each city. They do things like turn up early, set up audio visual, set up the Zoom so that the TA can present. They organize lunch, and they, I suppose, make sure everyone cleans up at the end of the day. One other thing that they do is important is that they mark attendance so that we know if someone's missed 1 or 2 or 3 or 10. The way that they know to mark is that they wait half an hour. So if your start time is 9:30, which is when the presentation from the TA occurs, well, that's the start time for it.
Some cities.
In some cities. Some cities will be a 10 a.m. start time. Some will be 9:30. If you're more than 30 minutes late, that's when you're technically not there. So the city organizer's instruction is to wait until half an hour after the start time. So if there's a 9:30 start time, it's 10. If it's 10, it's 10:30. And they mark people as absent or not. The reason we have a black and white policy is because with possibly over 100 participants this round, it would be impossible for us to assess all of the different edge cases as to why somebody was 5 minutes late that week. So it's the hardest part of our job, but we have to enforce this policy in a very black and white way because the gray space means that Zach gets 40 different edge cases each week as to why someone was late and he wants to walk into the ocean. I don't know if I answered that question, but it's disappeared, so I'm going to keep going. How can I judge if my Python knowledge is sufficient? I have 10 years of experience with other languages, but less than a year with Python. I'm going to hand over to the guys for this one.
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's less about like syntax of like Python and more about how programming works. I would say you don't need to have PyTorch experience, for instance, the library that's used a lot in Tara. But you learn that as you kind of go through it, just through interactivity. So that's fine. You'll be okay.
Can you speak of usage of AI during the program? Yeah, I'll let one of the guys handle this one.
Sure. I mean, we kind of prioritize understanding over like doing things from scratch. Like when you're actually going to be doing some research, you're not going to be trying coding a transformer from scratch. You're going to be taking it from somewhere, tweaking it for your needs. So we're very pro using LLMs and copilots. Just with the idea that keep the end in mind to help with your understanding.
Yeah, you could take the day's curriculum and put it straight into Claude and ask for all the answers, but then you haven't learned anything, and your research probably hasn't been accelerated. So making the exercise somewhat redundant. So, do you have any alternative recommendations for learning in the meantime, if not in our city? I do. Okay, right. No, I think I understand the question. I think a good thing to do is to look for fully remote programs. So it depends on what your experience level is. So some generic recommendations would be to look at a Blue Dot Impact technical course. Another one would be to consider SPAR, so the Supervised Program for Alignment Research. They're fully remote and they're for people that have some technical research experience. There's the AI Safety Camp program. MATS offers remote participation. There's quite a few out there. I think the best thing to do would be to go on aisafety.com and look up the education tab, and there all the different kinds of fellowships and courses are listed.
Yeah, I might add to that.
Yeah.
Like the prerequisites, there's quite a few. You can start that now. Arena curriculum is open source. I'll post that link in the chat so you can start going through that from now if you'd like. There's also, depending on your experience level, like if you have no machine learning background, Fast AI, I think it's called, the website. Great resource for getting into it and upskilling yourself very fast.
For sure.
And if you didn't catch any of that, this is being recorded and you can just fire up the video again or just email us. It's Zach, Ahmed, Yanni, Zach, all at taraprogram.org.
I'll send this to the chat.
Yeah. So if unsure, just send us an email. Is Tara a registered training organization? No. If so, I can request for study leave hours during the week for independent study too. Just checking. No, we're not. Maybe something for us to think about down the track. Just for my understanding, how do you define technical AI safety and human-centered AI? I don't think I understand the second category well enough. I wouldn't get too bogged down into the semantics. I'd probably just point you back to the curriculum because that's practically speaking what you would be learning to do. Next question. Is there any focus on research methods in the context of specific existential threats? Gradual disempowerment, for example. Ahmed?
Yeah, so we do have like in the 4 p.m. session we had in the last round, we had a few lectures on like research methods generally, and how to build a theory of change with like catastrophic risks in mind. Sometimes it depends on the TA. Will focus on like a specific catastrophic risk. But yeah, the more it's more general to apply for like a wider audience.
What are the qualities in the candidates the program is looking for? We've answered that quite a few times, so I'd recommend that you just check out the video once it's launched, or you just look at the application form. Is the capstone project a collaboration between two participants or its individual project? Yes, is the answer. You can do either of those. So we had many people do individual projects. We had people do projects between groups of 3 in the same city. We had a project with a group of 3 that was across 2 different cities. We had a couple of projects that were across countries. One of the great things about Tara is that it doesn't matter what city you're in, you're all going through the curriculum at the same time. So week 1, doesn't matter if you're in Taipei or Tokyo or Brisbane or Bangalore, you're all learning it together. You're all in the same Slack group together. And that goes for the whole 14 weeks. So one thing we haven't spoken about here is one part of the Tara theory of change is that we build intercity and inter-country relationships so that when advanced AI does become even more advanced at a governance level, there are relationships there for people to mitigate risks through whatever organization they happen to be in at the time. I noticed the deadline is July 29. Not true. It's July 26th. Could you let me know what the time the app closes on that day? Oh, just wherever you are in the world. Yep. Totally fine. So end of day, July 26th, and the time zone doesn't matter. We're not going to delete the application form until at least the next day. If I need to change locations during the program, who should I inform and how far in advance? Let us know and let your city organizer know. But if and when that happens, yeah, just feel free to reach out to us. Next question. When will the results be out as to whether we're accepted into the program or not? Within a week of the deadline. So the deadline is 26th of July, so add a week to that. Can I put down open to any city in the list within the country? Is that going to help my chances? Probably.
Yeah.
Because we've got a cap on the cohort size, the amount of the competitiveness within each cohort will differ.
Yep.
Regarding the AI usage, will you provide us temporary licenses as well, or should we figure it out? Is this a Google Colab question?
I think this is sort of an API question. We'll give you API keys for whenever you need them, and we provide the credits for that.
Just quickly, I'm conscious that we've actually gone 5 minutes over time. I think we're happy to just keep going until the questions end. But if you do need to leave now, again, thank you for taking the time on your Friday to be with us. We really appreciate you expressing interest. And feel free to reach out to us directly, LinkedIn, email, or even just go to the website.
Yeah.
All of those are totally fine.
Cool.
Next question. Since there is plenty of time before the course begins, what prerequisites can we learn to make our learning easier and more understandable? Ahmed?
I think we put those resources in the chat already. So prerequisites on the Arena website. I've linked it there, as well as Fast AI. It's a great way to get into learning machine learning in a very fast pace.
Yeah.
I'll say on our website where the curriculum is, there's a week 0 prerequisite. If you're struggling to find it, just go to the website and you can find the prerequisites there.
Yeah, we think this helps a lot. We had some people start the program without doing the prerequisites, and there's a core difference between the people that did and didn't in, let's just say, their emotional response to the content on that first week.
I remember getting a lot of responses in the final survey that we ran saying, what do you wish you had done differently? And the answer was the prerequisites for a lot of them. So yeah.
There's if I would emphasize one prerequisite, that would be like the IronSum library, like we tried towards for building neural networks, but the IronSum library in particular just makes that first 3 weeks much, much easier.
Yeah.
I don't have strong programming background, so am I eligible for the program? Also, I stay in Dubai and could not see it part of the list. Yes, so if you're in Dubai, then you're not eligible because we require people to attend in person. Next question, is this open to working professionals? Yes, it's specifically designed for students and working professionals. About half the cohort is working professionals, the other half are students, undergrad, masters, PhD. That's part of the theory of change. It runs on Saturdays so that people can test their fit in AI safety without quitting their day jobs. How did you get into AI safety and what motivated you? I suppose we can all answer this really quickly. I worked in ad agencies and marketing for the better part of 15 years. GPT-3 came out, looked really weird, then ChatGPT scared the shit out of me. So I felt like this was a very neglected problem and people needed to do something about it. Zach?
Yeah, I found out about it originally through through a podcast. I think I was sort of in the effective altruism community, and I found about AI safety through there. And I had a technical background in physics and maths, and I thought this seems like a great use of those quantitative skills, career-wise, to do something that I'm really concerned about.
Oh,
What got you into it?
Yeah, no, I set up the effective altruism group at the University of Cape Town a few years ago, and then there was a lot of focus on AI safety. So I did my research on, okay, given all these other course areas that I could be doing, does it make sense to focus on AI safety? And it was just a very meta philosophical paper, and that kind of convinced me.
Cool. If I attend only half the day on Saturday, would that still count as attendance? No. So to count as attendance, you need to be there within 30 minutes of the lecture starting, and you need to leave no earlier than 4:30 p.m. so that you can be there for the 4 p.m. afternoon session. What does being a city organizer require? Great question. So the city organizers really are the backbone of Tara. Some people might ask, well, if your TAs are remote and you're remote, how do you deliver an in-person program remotely? Well, the answer is city organizers. So we've got 2 in each city. The reason we've got 2 is because attending all 14 sessions is almost impossible. We had 5 people in the last cohort do it. So that means the vast majority of people miss at least 1 session. But we always need a city organizer there. So you have 2 per city, they rotate weeks. And they do the mundane but really, really important tasks. So we look for operational and leadership and interpersonal skills. So arrive early every week, set up the audio visual, set up Zoom, have lunch venues scoped out. Get people back in the room for the 4 p.m. session after lots of pair programming. Take attendance within half an hour of the lecture starting. Make sure everybody leaves on time and hasn't left the venue looking too messy. Will our teacher city cohorts be enabled to pivot/teach to emerging research, such as Anthropic?
Sort of recent paper that just came out
Right.
on Jacobian space.
Oh, okay, right. Yes, this is what the 4 p.m. sessions will probably be, right?
Yeah. I haven't read the paper yet. I think it came out like 2 days ago, but yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah, so usually like in the 4 p.m. session, sometimes what we'll have is say who's on a Macintosh week or linear probes. Then in the 4 p.m. session, we're like, okay, you got the foundation. This happened a while ago. This is what people are currently doing. And maybe for your project, if you want to explore this direction, here are some resources you can look at.
Yeah. So the presentations in the morning are really all about giving you the theoretical and practical foundation so that you can do pair programming until 4. And then 4 p.m. is all about giving you situational awareness and context into the AI safety space. So canonical papers, important organizations, career building skills, how to get a job in AI safety, how to plan for it, how to get funding, that kind of stuff. Final question. I appreciate that you've made the program accessible. What's the funding model behind the program, given that the course is free and the deposit is refunded? Good question. I get this quite a bit. So it just happens to be the case that very rich people are very worried about the speed of capabilities advances in AI models. And rich people, being rich people, don't have enough time to figure out where they should be donating their money. So they set up grant-making organizations, and the job of those grant-making organizations is to either accept proposals from people who want to create AI safety organizations or find those people. and that's where our money came from.
Cool.
Nice.
If you've got any final questions, I mean, you can throw them in the Zoom chat, or I suppose at this point, if you want to speak up, you're welcome to do so. But that is all the questions we have on Slido right now.
Nice. And we kept it within the hour.
Not bad.
Nice work, everyone.
Thanks for the questions.
Yes, thanks for the questions. Thanks for taking the time. All the questions were really thoughtful. And we look forward to seeing your application. Have a good rest of your Friday.